Hold. I'm loading out. Wait, I'm loading out. Let it rip. Yeah!
Let me tell you something, contestants. Embark Studios has nailed a formula for making money. Aside from the money printer that a Molotov cocktail skin for the pyro grenade would be, what Embark does is put out a season of the finals that's pretty good to keep the core player base happy. Then once they feel like making some real money, bring in some new players with American guns, American sports, American arenas, American music, and game modes where you partake in the American pastime of shooting anybody you don't want on your lawn. Like Team Deathmatch. Some of you may remember during the first video I ever made on the finals, I asked for Team Deathmatch to be added to the game, so all the iPad kids who can't pay attention to an objective for more than 5 seconds have a place to go. So I'm pretty glad they did this. They added it to a bunch of new maps, and even though I'm not a big Team Deathmatch guy, I can see myself joining a match to warm up every once in a while, then leaving once I see the entire enemy team is treating Team Deathmatch like ranked, and running whatever loadout happens to be meta. But something I can definitely see myself playing more is Power Shift, my favorite game mode to get killed in by a Diamond Sweat Lord, then have to spend 30 seconds watching my teammate fight a turret nowhere near the platform. They put out Power Shift on 2 new maps this season, and I'll get into the fact that there's technically no new map this season later on, but for me personally, I don't really care because Power Shift is my main mode, so I basically got 2 new maps. Those of you who don't play Power Shift probably don't notice, but we have been starving for maps for damn near 3 seasons now. Now we still don't have Fortune Stadium, which some people would probably say is a good thing since a lot of the map is empty space that you die if you fall into, but the thing is, if that's a problem on Fortune Stadium, then what the fuck is Seal doing in the Power Shift rotation? But the 2 maps we did get are a great choice. We got New Vegas, which we'll be talking about here in a bit, and my favorite map in the game, Bernal, Mexico.
Escucha, cabrón, no voy a perder contra un montón de jugadores ligados. Suben a la plataforma, ahora.
If you don't play Power Shift or any of the other quick play modes, then maybe you'll be incentivized to give them a shot with the brand new quick play progression. This gives the casuals a few rewards to grind for over the course of the season, and I just know this is going to turn quick play into an absolute sweat fest once all the ranked players get their diamond rewards. So if I were you, I would hop into quick play and get these rewards sooner rather than later. But before we move on to talking about New Vegas, I'd like to talk about something a little bit more serious. On Thursday, March 20th, 2025, the quick play community lost a dear friend. We are gathered here today to honor the memory of Bankit, a dear game mode that's been with us since day one, taken from us much too suddenly. In honor of Bankit, I'd like to say a few words of remembrance. Bankit was the friend who never took life too seriously, and as a result was never taken too seriously by the community at large. But in our times of need, when we wanted to play the finals without being yelled at for using the dual blades, or when we wanted to complete a certain challenge in a circuit, Bankit was always there for us. And for that, we thank him. And while many of you may be experiencing feelings of shock or maybe denial, I'm feeling anger. Embark, you took Bankit out of the game to make space for Team Deathmatch, but you left Terminal Attack in the game? At this point, I don't know if it's Embark or Nexon that keeps trying to make this game mode a thing, but we already tried making this happen back in Season 3, and it almost killed the entire game. I know you guys say more people play Terminal Attack than Bankit, but I have yet to meet or even see a single one. So I think it's time we started to consider the possibility that it might be time to take Terminal Attack out behind a shed, tell it to look at the flowers, and you know. Alright, back to the positives of this season, or at least a half positive. Las Vegas Stadium. Now here's a bit of a hot take, but I didn't hate the old Vegas.
Oh, but Hyper, old Vegas was way too cluttered, and if the finals is gonna be an esport, we need maps that are more competitively viable.
Well, first off, I don't give a flying fuck about esports. I'll watch the tournament later this year, sure, but that's about it. And second, my main problem with the remake isn't the remake itself, as even I can admit it does play better than the old version of Vegas. But did we really have to completely yank old Vegas out of the game? Like, come on, it wasn't that bad. The sponsor designs of the buildings are cool and all, but old Vegas had the vibes that this new version of Vegas just doesn't have. Especially this part of the Ngimo building. Bro, why's she looking at me like that? But I think there's a good compromise we can reach. Hear me out, Embark. Keep both versions of Vegas in the game, make them both available in the quick play rotation, and for ranked or any other competitive mode, make Las Vegas Stadium the version of Vegas that people play. That way we get the best of both worlds, a somewhat new map in the quick play rotation without removing a map, and all the Twitch streamers who hate Vegas get to play the better version over in ranked. I get new players might be confused at first with there being 2 different versions of Vegas, but it's not that confusing. Call of Duty players have a combined brain cell count of like 3, But even they don't get confused when there's 15 different versions of Nuketown or Shipment in the game. I know Embark is a smaller team, so that's why I'm not mad about not having a new map this season, but I still hate when developers remove a map to make way for a remake of the same map, unless the old version was just unbearably bad. Looking at you, Battlefield 2042. I don't think Old Vegas was that bad, and I hope it comes back one day, but I think Embark knew that the Vegas remake would have some mixed reactions, which is why they once again resorted to breaking the emergency glass around the God-bless, freedom-loving, brisket-eating American firepower. Did you guys notice that we've now had 2 instances of Embark putting out a season that fails to bring in a lot of new players and solving that problem by putting American guns in the next season? Coincidence? I think not. I know it, you know it, Embark knows it, everybody knows that whether it's a country with oil or a video game struggling to gain new players, you call in the American firepower when you need saving. We got the American-made BRN 180, the latest and greatest in weapons that every light main YouTuber is gonna put being inspected in their thumbnails, with a title that goes something like, "Insane Movement Light drops 30 kills and makes streamers quit." It's a short-barreled rifle with dual magazines and a suppressor that you can put one of the brand new sights on to give you that extra feeling of being a CQB tactical operator. If you like the MP5, then you're gonna feel right at home with this gun, as it's a fast-handling gun that's meant for short to medium range, even if it kind of feels like you're shooting jelly beans at your enemies sometimes. Then there's the American-made lever-action rifle. I didn't take the time to find out which specific rifle this is based on, because there's like 100 possibilities. It does pretty big damage, has a speed loader for fast reloads, and it's pretty good at longer ranges. Wait a second. Oh god. It's the Pike meta all over again. Yeah, I guess Embark felt bad about giving Medium a pretty dogshit shotgun at the beginning of Season 5 that they eventually buffed. So this time around, they gave Medium another meta-defining weapon. Gee, I wonder who Embark's favorite kid is. But who gives a shit what all the Ruby players are going to be using when you got an American-made minigun? Who needs accurate lever-action rifles when you can achieve accuracy by volume? I'm a heavy main myself, so you already know which weapon is my favorite, especially since I've been asking for a minigun basically since the game launched, and Embark cooked with this gun. Is what I would be saying if this gun wasn't so ass. Embark, how did you mess up a minigun? This gun looks great, sounds great, and feels great to shoot, but when you shoot it, you walk at like half a mile an hour. It takes 5 minutes to spin up, hitting anything past 10 feet away is damn near impossible, and if the enemy runs up to you, you're just fucking cooked. They can just run circles around you while you shoot at the air like that one guy in Predator. Oh, but you can destroy walls with it. After like 100 bullets. Yeah, in case you can't tell, the minigun is probably the worst gun in the game right now. I wish I was joking, but you could probably win more matches with the dual blades than this thing. You guys know I'm not a meta slave, but I played with this gun enough to get it to level 2, and I'm not touching it again until they buff it. And I wager that half the people over on the Discord would agree. But even though the minigun could probably use a buff to pretty much everything, something I wouldn't mind them nerfing on the minigun is the noise. Half the games I've played this season sound like a construction site with jackhammers going off everywhere. Hey, can you put an APS down? What? I need an APS here. Dude, I can't hear you. I said I need an APS right here. Dude, this game doesn't have APCs. You're thinking about Battlefield. No, not APC, APS. But since we won't be demolishing anyone with the minigun in its current state, we can at least look good while we're losing with the Season 6 Battle Pass. This thing is filled with all sorts of amazing American cosmetics based on some of the greatest American sports like football, NASCAR, pro skateboarding, and shooting. Wait, what do you mean America only won 3rd place in shooting? Oh wait, it's skeet shooting. Put a 3-gun competition in the Olympics, then tell me who wins. But all of these skins pale in comparison to the greatest skin in the Battle Pass, the Ruby player skin. I mean seriously, just look at that gamer neck. Truly, this is peak male performance. Now if you can't afford the Battle Pass, you still got some free rewards you can win, but even better than that, we got some new sponsors, baby. First off, we have a mix of literally every energy drink company you've ever seen in the form of Ospuz, and I think Embark nailed the feeling of this company from the cosmetics they have to the fact that they make it sound like drinking Ospuz will give you godlike intellect instead of a heart attack at 34. The only thing that throws me off is the fact that their CEO is a hot woman instead of a middle-aged white guy on crack. Then there's Raytheon Systems, which I'm convinced somebody at Embark used to work at. Here's a bit of hyper lore for you guys. I've actually worked with a lot of Raytheon guys in the past, among some other military contractors, and half the guys that work at military contractors are nerds that look just like this, and yes, they're always named some shit like Junior McJohnson. Embark absolutely nailed the look and feel of Alpha Acta. And then there's Ngemo. Jesus, I feel bad for you guys. You guys have been thrown against two of the biggest aura farming sponsors twice in a row. And Embark didn't even do you guys the courtesy of giving you the Riot Samurai skin this time around. It's just a reskin of the ninja from Season 3. I'd be pissed off if I was an Ngemo fan, cause I ain't signing with you guys, and neither is anyone else. So between Bang Energy and Raytheon Systems, who did I sign up with? Come on, you already know it's the American military contractor. I don't care if Osbooz has all the drip this season. I don't care how hot their CEO is. Do they have a home defense nuclear bomb? Yeah, I didn't think so. Do they have a minigun? No. Do they have a rocket-propelled knife? No. But I do because I signed with Alpha Acta. Holy shit, the ATF just shot my dog when they found out I owned an unregistered explosive device, and they're after me too now. I gotta get a disguise on or something. But thankfully I have a bunch of outfits ready to go with the new outfit saber in the contestant creator. But I think I'm gonna fool the ATF by dressing up in a bunch of red and pretending to be a dummy in the new and improved practice range. The practice range has a bunch of new dummies that run around to make them better to train your aim and mess around with gadgets on. However, don't go in thinking this is gonna make you better against actual players, cause it's pretty basic AI that barely even fights back. Maybe this is who Embark playtested the minigun against. Still though, it's a great improvement for the practice range, and I hope we get more in the future. Speaking of improvements, the menus have been overhauled. They organized the shop a lot better, and they've also made it easier for players to navigate the game mode menus and understand their progression. I still have one problem with these menus though. The pictures they use for these game modes don't tell me anything. Anyone who's ever played a video game knows what Team Deathmatch is, but if I'm a new player, how am I supposed to know what Quick Cache or Power Shift or Terminal Attack is? I don't know, these pictures are just a bunch of guys standing there. There's also a bunch of private match improvements to make it more esports ready. And all of you esports streamers will be happy to know that you can use the new streamer mode to hide the fact that you spend 15 hours a day playing the finals. Now, when Sanguine joins my lobby and curb stomps me a third time, I won't even know about it. I think I would be a lot better at this game if I wasn't spending so much time in the gym lately, but I'm just trying to get swole like the heavy contestants did this season. Finally, a muscle mommy body type has been added to the finals. Before this, we just had a bunch of thick Asian girls running around. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but anyone who spends time in the gym knows it's a lot better if you got some banger music to play, which is why I'm gonna be blasting the Season 6 soundtrack during my next workout. If it hasn't happened already, the soundtrack guy seriously needs to get a raise. This time around, Embark was going for disco-inspired bass-heavy and high-energy synths to match the extreme sports feel they were going for, and once again, they put out an absolute banger. These songs remind me a lot of the type of music that plays during highlight reels for football or dirt bike races. But that's not to say you can't break it down to these songs either, because you definitely can. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a bit, because I'm gonna let Embark play us out of this review. Season 6 of the finals is admittedly lower on new content than any other season, but I think Embark made up for it with the quality of life improvements to the rest of the experience, as well as bringing fan-favorite game modes like Team Deathmatch and Power Shift to more maps. And most importantly, they made sure that the new weapons, minus the minigun, felt great, sounded great, and were all staples of American firepower. And for that, it gets the Hyperborean American seal of approval. I'm gonna get back into the arena. But until next time, thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.